Everyone thought I was desperate, the girl who chased after Asher Blackwood, the girl who smiled through humiliation, the girl willing to share a man who treated hearts like disposable toys. At his lavish beach party, surrounded by laughter and cruel whispers, I became the night's favorite joke. They mocked me. They pitied me. They waited for me to crawl back to the man who had already chosen someone else, but they didn't know something had changed. The moment I looked across the room, my eyes landed on the one man no woman dared approach, Silas Vane, cold, untouchable, dangerous, a man whose name alone could silence an entire crowd. And in that instant I realized I no longer wanted the affection of a faithless boyfriend, I wanted the impossible. What started as a reckless act of revenge would ignite a scandal no one saw coming, one that would shatter reputations, expose hidden truths, and pull me into the arms of the most forbidden man in the room. That night everyone expected me to beg for love. Instead I chose chaos. Welcome to Daily Storyvids. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more exclusive stories handpicked by yours truly. Now back to the story chapter 1. The crowd joined in the jeering. Ash really knows how to train his women. Such a beautiful girlfriend and so obedient too. He's got a girl in each arm living the poly dream honestly. I felt a surge of pure disgust. His mouth had just been all over Skylar and now he wanted me to kiss him. Nobody wants to settle for someone else's scraps. Just as I was hesitating, I saw the barrage subtitle feed. Without a second thought, I sat down right next to the legendary cold saint Silas Vane. He felt cool to the touch, yet he radiated an overwhelming virility that smelled heavenly. I swallowed hard, feeling as though my entire body had been set on fire. I was so thirsty, so hot, I didn't want a single bite of Asher's scraps anymore. The man beside me was dressed in a shirt and trousers, his skin completely covered. He had broad shoulders, a narrow waist and long legs, yet he carried himself with the rigid discipline of a monk. It made me want to tear open his white shirt, bite into his elegant neck, pin down his vein-streaked hands, and shatter every ounce of his lofty, dignified composure. To drag him down from his high, pure altar and savor every bit of him, the thought was exhilarating. My eyes lit up. To get a taste of this top-tier delicacy, I pulled out every trick in the book. I tightened my arms around my chest, pushing my curves together to make them even more prominent. I let my softness brush against his arm as if by accident, then shyly pulled away. I looked up at him from the perfect angle, blinking my wet dough-like eyes. Blushing, I whispered in a tiny, trembling voice, "Hi, can I kiss you?" He looked down at me with indifference, remaining silent. I wasn't ready to give up. I wanted to try one more time. Asher rushed over and grabbed my hand, trying to pull me away from Silas. "Sorry, Mr. Vane, she's being immature. I hope she didn't ruin your mood." I cursed him under my breath for ruining my mood. I let out a fake cry of terror. As I yanked my hand away, I used the momentum to slap him hard across the face. Taking the opportunity, I threw myself into Silas's arms. In the chaos, the thin fabric of my bikini fluttered to the floor. My softness pressed firmly against Silas's chest. As I pinned him down onto the sofa, I even managed to sneak in a feel. He was so firm, so well-built, Silas's Adam's apple bobbed as he let out a muffled, strained groan. The sound made my knees go weak, and I slumped completely against him, my hunger only intensifying. I was so starving, and he was so tempting. Chapter 2. If the stars of such a scandalous and explosive scene had been anyone else, the screams would have surely flipped the yacht over. But this was Silas Vane. The entire room fell into a deathly silence, everyone too terrified to even breathe. Only the barrage subtitle feed was going absolutely wild. WTF, what is our lead doing? Is she using the cold saint to make Asher jealous? Is this revenge for him hooking up with his bro right in front of her? No way a typical angst novel lead has that kind of game. Vivienne's character is supposed to be a pure, innocent little rabbit. Her bikini was ruined, so she's probably just feeling helpless. She went to the saint because she thinks he's so cold and upright enough to be safe. +1 to the person above. Asher's scumbag friends look like they want to devour her alive. Only the saint seems cold and upright enough to be safe. Safe. Laughing my ass off, this is literally walking into the lion's den. If the saint's seal actually gets broken, I can't even imagine what happens next. Hehe. The saint is totally faking it. He's obviously been holding it in forever, yet he's acting so detached. If we didn't know he only showed up today for Vivienne, we'd actually be fooled by him. Hilarious. Look at him, all chanting, meditating, and clutching those prayer beads. Later on, the leads push him so far that he completely blackens. He's even got a solid gold birdcage and ankle shackles hidden away in private Tilda. Vivienne, girl, please consider the saint. Sobby, his face might be cold, but he's hot everywhere else. His lips are stiff, but other parts of him are even stiffer. Someone got the person above some pants. This is a comment section, not an R-rated fanfic zone. My eyes went wide as I read, and I swallowed hard. I glanced down at the man pinned beneath me. He possessed the kind of god-tier beauty that could command an entire room. Fair skin, clear, shallow eyes. He possessed an aura of icy detachment that felt entirely otherworldly. Could he really like someone? And that someone was me. Barrage subtitle, you better not be lying to me. As our eyes met, Silas seemed to snap out of it like he'd been hit by an electric shock, and his instinct was to push me away. Steeling my heart, I let out a soft whimper and clung to Silas even tighter. I pressed against his chest, trembling slightly. I pleaded with a sob in my voice. Please, Mr. Vane, don't look at me. Silas's hands froze instantly. A hazy mist clouded his clear eyes. A brilliant red flush rapidly stained his pale cheeks, spreading all the way to his ears until it felt like it would explode. Oh ho! I keenly felt a certain change right where we were pressed together. I gave a seemingly accidental nudge, letting my curves brush against his hardness. Silas's breath hitched and his abs pulled tight. His size seemed quite impressive. I couldn't have been more satisfied. On the surface, however, I widened my doe-like eyes in feigned horror, biting my lip in distress. Mr. Vane, how could you? Silas's gaze darkened. He reached out, grabbed a nearby beach towel and draped it over me. Even as he sat up, I remained nestled firmly in his arms. His core strength is incredible. His waist power is also top tier. Clearly the barrage subtitle agreed. He just propped the lead up with him so effortlessly. That waist strength, that alpha energy if he was holding her while standing up, I can't even imagine how good that would be. Stop, he's probably losing it right now. Vivienne is so soft, so fair, so curvy, and they are literally skin to skin. The saint must be seriously regretting wearing clothes today. Silas Vane's epitaph 100 years from now. My greatest regret in this life was wearing a white shirt to a bikini party. Despite his body being rigid with tension and his ears burning hot, Silas's gaze remained icy. It was as if he were looking at something filthy that had stained him. If it weren't for the barrage subtitle and little Silas's enthusiasm, I wouldn't have dared to get close to him. Ha, what a poser, I didn't pull away. Instead, I looped my arms around his neck. I leaned in, pressing my lips against his cherry-pink mouth in a hungry kiss. The man's heartbeat suddenly thundered against me. Beneath the towel, the hand gripping my waist tightened abruptly. The force was so great it felt as though he wanted to crush me into his very soul. Vivienne, what the hell are you doing? Let go of Mr. Vane right now. Asher's voice finally erupted in a sharp, frantic shriek. He lunged forward to grab me, but hesitating over Silas's status, he ended up packing in circles like a trapped animal. He pulled back just enough to break the seal, lingering for a moment before offering an innocent explanation. But the rules say we have to kiss for 10 minutes, and it has to be a French kiss. The room fell into a heavy silence. No one dared to utter a word. They had intended for this vulgar game to humiliate me, to make me a laughingstock. But who would dare cross a man like Silas Vane? I blinked my watery, doe-like eyes, cared in a polite, soft whisper. Ought to added to the library, Mr. Vane, can we kiss? I let a sliver of my bright red tongue peek out. The kind of kiss that goes right here. Silas's gaze grew dark and turbulent. His Adam's apple bobbed as he ground his teeth so hard his jaw visibly tightened. I nestled deeper into his lap, intentionally rubbing against him as I coaxed him. His breath grew heavy and his grip on my waist tightened into a death lock. A single, strained sound forced its way out of his throat. MMH. With his permission granted, I leaned in and kissed him with careful precision. Silas's reaction was raw, unpracticed, and passive. He let out suppressed, husky groans that were devastatingly magnetic. It was incredibly hot. Driven by a surge of reckless confidence, I pried his lips open. As our tongues tangled, I greedily drank in the overwhelming virility energy he radiated. It felt wonderful. I wanted more. An unspeakable heat flooded from the top of my head downward. Oh, my ears and tail were becoming almost impossible to hide. I brushed against Silas's lips, whispering a sultry, seductive temptation. Mr. Vane, I want to devour you whole. It was as if 1,000 chains had snapped at once, releasing a long-caged predator back into the wild. Silas's gaze turned sharp and focused, and suddenly he kissed back with a ferocious intensity. Wait, the lead's personality seems off. Wasn't she supposed to be a pure little rabbit? Why is she clinging to the saint and not letting go? I thought it was weird earlier. As the lead in an angst novel, how is she so proactive with another man? Shouldn't she be staying pure for the scumbag? Gross, staying pure for a cheating scumbag. Should she build a chastity shrine too? It's more like she's mourning him. The lead isn't clean anymore, it's disgusting. Cheating with the saint right in front of the male lead, so indecent. Elmau, the scumbag, was the one who wanted to play this game. Who in this room is decent? Why single out the girl? Just say you hate women and move on. Agreed. Honestly, the saint and the lead are the cleanest people there. This plot twist, chef's kiss, give us more, don't stop. 10 minutes was barely enough to take the edge off my hunger. As the deep, tangled kiss finally ended, Silas's clear eyes were already clouded with a hazy mist. His lips were a deep crimson, his face a mask of unquenched desire. The icy saint had been dragged completely off his altar. Fortunately, I was the only one who could see it. Thoroughly thrilled, I couldn't resist patting his flushed cheek. Mr. Vane, the 10 minutes are up tilde. Chapter 4. Silas returned to his room early and no one dared to stop him. Asher was seething with rage but lacked the courage to act on it. He could only let the surrounding bros smirk and wink, mocking him for getting cuckolded right in front of them. He glared at me, his temper on the verge of exploding. I ignored him, wrapping myself in a beach towel and heading back to my room to change. While I was rummaging through my things, Skylar slipped into the room unnoticed. "Vivienne, I really underestimated you. Ash said you were innocent, but it looks like you've got quite the bag of tricks." Her contemptuous tone was dripping with hostility. "I can't stand you fake-ass innocent girls, always pulling that pathetic damsel-in-distress act. It's so transparent and all just to hook a man." Now that I'd tasted a 5-star meal, I had lost interest in Asher entirely. I didn't even bother pretending anymore. You're so impressive, sis. You're so dedicated to being one of the boys that you'll French kiss your best bro without a second thought. Unlike me, who has to pull this pathetic damsel-in-distress act. Skylar was momentarily choked by my retort, her expression turning ugly. "What's that supposed to mean?" I ignored her. "Vivienne, answer me." She rushed forward and snatched my bag. "Keep it up and I'll throw this into the ocean. Let's see what you wear then," I blinked innocently. "You're so powerful and brave, Skylar, such a masculine spirit. I'm absolutely terrified." Skylar couldn't swallow her pride and actually threw my bag into the sea. She even threw down a final threat with a smug look. "Vivienne, crossing me won't do you any good. No girl on this boat is going to lend you clothes." "I can't wait to see what you do now," I shrugged nonchalantly. "You're so mean. What can I do? I guess I'll just have to go ask the brothers for some clothes. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help me out, wouldn't they?" Skylar hadn't expected such a brazen response and exploded in a rage. "Vivienne, you shameless little vixen." Well, what a coincidence. My true form as a succubus happened to be a red fox. I burst out laughing. I patted Skylar on the shoulder and spoke with mock sincerity. "Sky, honestly, only someone like you would treat a piece of trash like Asher as a prize. One of the guys. Give me a break. We both know what you're really after. Why fight over a man with 2 legs? If you love him that much, you can have that garbage. I'm moving on to something much better, tilde." Chapter 5. I mussed up my hair and rubbed a few red marks onto my neck and shoulders. Still wrapped in the towel, I knocked on Silas Vane's door. Silas had already reverted to his pristine, aloof self. It looked as though nothing had happened earlier. I hunched my shoulders and whispered in a small, pitiful voice, "Mr. Vane, can I come in?" Silas frowned. "Miss Vivienne, this isn't appropriate." What a poser. Just a moment ago, he was standing at full attention the second I touched him and nearly crushed my waist while we were kissing. My eyes immediately welled with tears as I began to sob. "I'm sorry, I know I'm being a burden, but I really didn't know who else to go to. They threw my bag into the ocean and those guys are there. I'm too scared to go near them, so I came to find Mr. Vane." Crystal clear tears rolled down my lashes. I bit my lip and clutched the towel tightly to my chest. Messy hair, ambiguous marks, humiliated tears, and a broken spirit. Perfect. The sounds of the party reached us from the distance, along with the voices of men approaching in the hallway. "Asher's little girlfriend is quite the handful. Is he blind or something, still messing around with Skylar? Best bro, my ass. Girlfriend, he said he was just playing with her. But with that body and that ruined bikini, it's making me ache. If Asher, going to ignore a prize like that, he should just let me have a turn. I wonder where that torn bikini went." I wouldn't mind getting my hands on it. I threw myself into Silas's arms in terror, trembling as I begged for mercy. "Mr. Vane, help me, please," sob. Silas caught me with a mix of reluctance and familiarity. The veins on his arms were bulging as if he was struggling with extreme self-restraint. "Miss Vivienne, I'm a man." I looked up at him innocently. A man's room is not a place you should enter lightly." The dark room behind him seemed to stretch out like an endless, predatory abyss. I traced small circles on his chest with my finger and asked in a sweet, cooing voice, "Is that right? Why is that?" Silas suddenly seized my mischievous hand with a powerful grip. The voices in the hallway were getting closer. Silas's voice was husky and filled with a low, menacing growl. Vivienne, if you dare step inside, don't you regret it? The towel was roughly pulled away, and I was dragged into the room. Chapter 6 Barrage subtitle feed has been blowing up since just now. Can someone tell me what kind of development this is? Is this a sudden channel change from pure romance to rated R? This is too intense. Vivienne is clearly doing this on purpose, right? Whoever said she's a pure little rabbit, her character has completely collapsed. How is she supposed to get her heart broken by the male lead and then have him chase her at the crematorium for a happy ending now? Why have a happy ending with that scumbag? I think the saint is totally outclassing the male lead. Vivienne is playing this perfectly, don't stop. Wait, so Vivienne's innocent little bunny act was all a front. The way she just dragged that pick-me side character to hell and back. I need a masterclass in this level of shade stat. LOL, cold saint turned addict ex pure and sexy succubus. This ship is giving, I'm totally obsessed. So is the next part what I think it is. Hurry, hurry. As a VIP member, my self-control has suddenly flew out the window. Some sisters have it, some don't. The room was pitch black. I was thrown onto the bed. Silas's white shirt was removed and draped over my vision. The elegant scent of sandalwood on the fabric was enough to make someone feel intoxicated. I pushed the clothes aside, excitedly preparing to start my meal. Then I heard him say, "Put it on for now. You can buy new ones after we dock." The Barrage subtitle feed was just as disbelieving as I was. "Mr. Vane, are you serious? Are you actually trying to become an immortal? I thought those tragic self-sacrificing martyrs in angst novels were the limit, but you, my saint, you are the absolute king of blue-balling us. How are you still holding it in? Mr. Vane, you're a real saint, aren't you? Why don't you check that massive tent you're pitching before you try to lecture her? Your body is a total snitch, LOL. Saint, drop the act, I am literally begging you. Watching this level of restraint is a literal war crime. I'm about to lose my mind. I am the Buddha. Saint, I now grant you permission to return to the secular world. Saint, you who hide the power of addiction, reveal your true strength before the lead. I, the Buddha who once made a pact with you, command you seal be released. I accidentally burst out laughing at the comments. Silas's expression suddenly turned solemn, his clear eyes looking exceptionally indifferent and heartless. Is it that funny? I clutched his shirt and asked cautiously, Mr. Vane, are you angry? Silas pursed his lips and said nothing. Using the dim light, I admired him shamelessly. Cold, pale skin, elegant collarbones, full chest muscles, they were a sweet pink. His abs were firm, his waist tight, and a tantalizing V-line disappeared into. My eyes went wide. I didn't want to behave anymore. I pitched my voice into a sultry coo, dragging out my words as I asked, "Then is Babe angrier up here or down there?" Chapter 7 Silas must have never been teased like this before. He instantly overheated. From his ears to the back of his neck, everything turned a deep red as he sternly scolded me. "Miss Vivienne, you are Asher's girlfriend. Have some self-respect." If I hadn't seen those Barrage subtitle feed comments, I probably would have been terrified by his icy questioning. My eyes lit up as I looked at him, saying nonchalantly, "After what he did with that other girl and how he let them bully me, he's not my boyfriend anymore." Silas's face was as cold as frost. "Even so, I am not the kind of person Miss Vivienne can just mess around with. If you're only doing this to win back your relationship or relieve your loneliness, then find someone else." He turned and went into the bathroom. Soon, the sound of water started. I bit my lip, seething with frustration. I slowly put on the shirt, feeling as though I was wrapped in his sandalwood scent. It was as if he was holding me tightly in his arms. Every part of me was covered in his scent. The long-suppressed heat surged back once more. It spread everywhere, completely unstoppable. Even the air felt hot and heavy, almost damp. I moaned unconsciously, clutching the pillow in frustration. The faint sandalwood scent seemed to soak into my body. I really couldn't take it anymore. Perhaps it was because of the stimulation from Silas. My heat cycle had arrived, but he was still so icy. What should I do? Did he really have no interest in me? The Barrage subtitle suddenly exploded. OMG, Asher, what are you doing? I won't even mention the fact that he's rewarding himself to the sound of the shower, but how did Vivienne's bow bikini end up here? Even though it's ruined, are you seriously going to rip the bows apart now? Holy crap, I was wondering where her bikini went. It was in his hands the whole time. His hands are fast in every sense of the word. 1 second he's playing the untouchable saint, acting all high and mighty like some ancient monk. But behind her back, you're really getting your hands dirty, aren't you, saint? The hypocrisy is real. LOL. Vivienne was serving pure heat just now. That line, "Are you angrier up here or down there?" literally ended in me. She is the undisputed queen of this game, LMAO. But our saint is still gatekeeping his own desires. What if Vivienne loses interest? Girl, don't quit on HIM yet, I'm still manifesting that all-nighter session. Trust me, the quiet ones are always the most feral in bed. I promise he's got the stamina. I narrowed my eyes and licked my lips. Heh, you hypocrite, you really know how to put on a show. Fine, I'll play along with you one last time. Chapter 8. Silas came out after his shower. I had already put on his white shirt, buttoning it all the way to the top. His shirt was oversized on me, leaving a large expanse of my snow-white neck and shoulders exposed, the ultimate boyfriend shirt look. The white fabric was thin and sheer, and I wasn't wearing any underwear. With every curve and movement, everything was teasingly visible. Silas immediately looked away, not daring to look at me. I got off the bed on my own and walked toward the door. Mr. Vane, thank you for letting me stay, I've been a burden. I reached out to open the door, but Silas lost his composure. He quickly stepped up behind me, his voice laced with frustrated annoyance. Where do you think you're going looking like that? I gave a tragic, faint smile. Mr. Vane, you're right, I'm exactly the kind of lonely woman you said I was. Since you don't like me at all, I'll listen to you and go find someone else. I won't cause you any more trouble. Bam! Silas suddenly slammed his hand against the door, forcing it shut just as I had cracked it open. His breath was dangerously close, and his tall frame completely enveloped me in shadow. His voice was husky, each word sounding like it was ground out from between his teeth. Vivienne, you are not leaving. Don't you dare find someone else. I sobbed with feigned grievance. Mr. Vane, you can't do this. You clearly don't want me, so why are you being so possessive and controlling? Silas fell silent, but his chest pressed against my back was heaving violently. I couldn't help but smirk even as I said, I really feel so miserable. I know you don't want me, but someone else will. No. Silas's resolve was on the verge of collapsing, so I decided to add one more heavy blow. A furry, fiery red foxtail suddenly peeked out from under the shirt, coiling around Silas's leg. It was vibrant and seductive, making the man behind me almost stop breathing. I frantically pulled at the hem of the shirt, trying desperately to hide the tail, but the thin fabric only clung tighter to my chest. The sheer material couldn't hide anything at all, I pleaded with a sob. Mr. Vane, don't look at me, sob. Please let me go. If this goes on any longer, I really won't be able to take it. Silas's discipline shattered completely. The veins on his strong arms bulged as he grabbed my waist, slamming me back into his embrace with a sudden surge of strength. He buried his head in my neck, his voice muffled and low. I'm not letting go. Don't leave, don't find anyone else. It can only be me. It has to be me. The high and mighty saint had finally fallen into the dirt. I was so excited my ears almost popped out. This was too intense. The barrage subtitle was also losing its mind. I am literally reading a modern folk tale. What is this cold Saint X-Fox demon masterpiece? If you knew who my favorites were, you'd know I've struck gold. Wait. So the pure little rabbit lead is actually a red fox succubus. No wonder, this pure yet sexy vibe is literally reeling everyone in. She's got him exactly where she wants him. Hiss. Hurry up and get on the highway. As a VIP member, my self-control is already catching fire. I couldn't wait either, I was starving. I slumped into Silas's arms, taking control and pulling him close. Just as I was about to kiss him, I saw his eyes were flushed red and his gaze was shattered. Mr. Vane, he looked at me with aching sorrow. He looked as if he was about to break. Vivienne, I am not a tool for you to make someone jealous, and I am not anyone's rebound. You are not allowed to treat me like that. OMG, how did no one tell me that a saint becomes a devoted house husband after breaking his vows? Who's crazy? I'm crazy. I get it now. When the high and mighty saint is dragged down from his altar, he turns into a rainy day puppy who's terrified of being played with and abandoned. I love this flavor, so satisfying. Help, why is the screen black? Are you bullying me because I didn't get the VIP membership? I'm going to go buy it right now, sob. Mr. Vane, please don't finish too fast. Just an annual VIP member passing through, flexing my golden badge while I enjoy the uncensored scenes you guys can't see. Stay. Chapter 9. My breath hitched, and I had no interest in looking at the barrage subtitle feed anymore. I shoved Silas down onto the bed. Sitting on top of him, I gripped him tightly, coaxing him with a gentle whisper. You're not a tool, and you're not anyone's rebound. I never liked Ash at all, the only one I want is you. Silas bit his lip, but I'm different from others, I'm scared. I pressed my finger against his lips, my tail coiling around his waist. SHH, babe, you won't hurt me. Because I'm different from others too, and I really want to devour you. We are made for each other. The obsidian prayer beads were snapped, scattering all over the floor. Silas's clear eyes shone with a light that looked like a predator. He stopped resisting, letting the fire of desire swallow his reason. Chapter 10. Silas was very green. Silas was very shy. Silas was very fierce. He fed me until I was completely full. It was so intense. I felt so happy. The buttons on my shirt had been ripped off and scattered everywhere, so it was unwearable. Luckily, we docked the next day. I lifted my foot and pressed it against Silas's chest. I commanded him to go buy me some clothes. Silas gripped my ankle, kissing it for a long time before reluctantly letting go. When he returned, he had already changed back into that high and mighty saint. It was as if everything from last night had just been a fever dream. But as I put on the sundress and looped my arm through Silas's, his ears turned a quiet, deep red. What a cutie, he really can't take a joke. Before we left, we unavoidably ran into Asher and Skylar. Asher looked haggard and exhausted. The moment he saw me, he rushed forward to grab Vive. Where the hell were you yesterday? Do you have any idea how dangerous it is out at sea? Feeling Silas's body suddenly tense up, I brushed against his arm to soothe him. I pretended to be scared and hid behind him, clinging even tighter. My eyes turned red as if I were about to cry. I was with Silas last night. He was the only one who would help me while you all. Asher's eyes flickered and he said stiffly, "Yesterday was my fault, I'll make it up to you today. Your phone is off, did you block me? Vive, stop being so petty. A girl like you, isn't it dangerous to be out alone? If your clothes were ruined, you should have just borrowed some from Sky. Or you could have come to me, your boyfriend. We're practically at the point where we can cough anyway, why would you bother Mr. Vane with this?" "Mr. Vane, thanks for yesterday, I'll thank you on her behalf." The corner of Silas's mouth twitched almost imperceptibly. "Don't bother." The barrage subtitle feed was also dying of laughter. His hat is literally glowing green and he's still thanking his rival, the ex-boyfriend of the year. I was so annoyed by this trashy pair, but seeing the saint give that slight smirk after that total burn was worth it. Vivienne is really the sweet and salty queen. She's so good at this, the scumbag is probably being sold and still helping her count the cash. I exaggeratedly covered my mouth with my hand. My phone was in my bag and Sky dropped it into the ocean yesterday. My clothes were in there too, but Sky said no girl would lend me clothes, didn't she tell you? Skylar panicked. "Vivienne, you fake-ass little snake, stop putting on a show for everyone." "Ash, look at us. We've been bros for years, do you believe her or me?" I quickly intervened. "It's fine, really. It was just a ruined bikini and my bag, phone and clothes being thrown into the sea. I had nothing, not even anything to wear." I shamefully and fearfully hugged my body. With tears in my eyes, I gave a tragic smile. "But I know Sky didn't mean it. You two have so many years of history, don't fight over me." "Sky doesn't like me, I'll just leave." Skylar was about to go insane with rage. Chapter 11. Asher, hearing this, immediately turned his fury towards Skylar. The two of them instantly exploded at each other. Finally, an angst novel lead with a real backbone, so satisfying. Her green tea energy is the perfect counter for that pick-me tomboy purely fighting fire with fire. Seriously, what's so good about this fake-ass lead? She's so passive-aggressive and toxic. I hope you all meet someone like her in real life and see how you like it then. Is the person above okay? Are you usually the one doing bad things and getting called out? More girl-on-girl hate. Are these hack authors out of ideas? Hate, that's a bro girl, she's not like us, hun. I yawned and pulled Silas away to leave. Skylar, however, pointed at me and screamed, "Asher, you think she's so innocent. Do you really think she just slept last night and nothing else happened? She already cheated on you, you absolute idiot, can't you see that?" Asher said impatiently, "Vive is pure, she wouldn't do something like that. In fact, it wasn't just him, no one believed Silas Vane would actually do anything with me." Skylar nearly fainted from rage. Fine, then look at your pure girlfriend's neck, what are those?" I sighed. Silas was great at everything, but after holding it in for so long he turned into a biter once he got going. Like a puppy, it didn't hurt and it felt great, but it didn't look good. Asher saw the hickeys on my neck and tried to stay calm. "Vive, what are those, you?" It was time to make things clear. Otherwise my little Silas would turn into a broken rainy day puppy again. I boldly tossed my hair back, not hiding my disgust for him at all. "Asher, the second you and Skylar kissed, we were over. I don't like using public property, it's too dirty. Besides, everyone knows I was just a toy to you, so naturally you were the same to me, Tilda." Asher's face went pale. "Vive, you're just saying that to spite me, right? Stop it, I promise I won't." Feeling Silas getting tighter and tighter, I grabbed his collar and kissed him right in front of everyone. Silas's ears turned bright red instantly. He clumsily wrapped his arms around my waist. So awkward, so cute. After the kiss, I lazily leaned into Silas's arms and said one last thing to Asher. "I'll send you the bill for the phone, clothes and bag you lost. Actually, I should thank you for helping me find my true love. My clean, beautiful babe isn't just a toy to me. I love him so much, Tilda." Chapter 12. No one dared to mess with Silas Vane, especially since everyone had witnessed yesterday's events. On the way back, Silas held my arm even tighter. He kept glancing at me and then turning away. That hesitant look made him look like a puppy holding its pee. Help, what happened to the cold saint? How did he get trained into a dog by the lead? So the lead literally cheated with the saint before even dumping the scumbag. Where are her morals? This is just a cheap one-night stand. Trashy as hell, I'm gonna barf. The scumbag cheated first, okay? Kissing another woman in public and saying the lead is just a toy, why can't she play with him too? Some people really just hate women. Wow, how can you find it in your heart to judge her? Honestly, even if she did something wrong, she only made the mistake that every man in the world makes. Disagree, the saint wouldn't make that mistake. Disagree, the saint lives in the clouds, he's not like every other man. You guys are too much, ha. I smirked and happily gripped Silas's long hand, fingers interlaced. Babe, do you know what a man's middle finger length represents? Silas looked at me confused. I spoke boldly. They say it's the length down there, Tilda. I stroked his middle finger. It feels like it's way more than that. Silas overheated again. I asked him curiously, Babe, what do you actually like about me? Silas spoke slowly. In middle school, we went to the same school. I was short, and once I was being shaken down by some seniors. You beat them up and got my wallet back. You also claimed you owned these streets, that you were the crimson blade of the frozen moon, and that I was officially your lackey. But since I was too weak, you could only dub me the Requiem Saint as a starter title. You even made me chant prayers just to set the vibe every time you finished a fight. But I transferred away a few days later. I was shocked. I didn't expect my cringy middle school memories to suddenly attack me like this. I instantly overheated too, letting out a sharp shriek. So you knew what I was like this whole time and you didn't say anything? Even if you didn't say anything, why did you suddenly start talking now of all times? You just quietly watched me act for so long, you must be so smug. His ears were red. As long as you're willing to put in the effort for me, I was speechless. So his whole saint persona was because of me. Vivienne, you've really ruined people. The barrage subtitle feed was also going crazy with laughter. Help, our pure lead was actually a hardcore delinquent. What is this edgy-ass title? Is she trying to cringe me to death so she can inherit my medical bills? LMAO, I'm actually low-key moved. Crimson Blade, even if you've forgotten our sacred oath, the Requiem Saint still remembers. Sobbing, LOL. You said the street life was over, but you didn't know my blade still carves through the snow for you. OMG, I can't even finish that with a straight face. Ha. The lead's ego is completely shattered. She didn't even blush this hard during the spicy scenes, LOL. Wow, so the saint quietly watched the lead act for so long. Is he actually a schemer? Silas relaxed, leaning in for a kiss. I blocked his lips with my finger. Watch your mouth, Tilda. I was annoyed and intentionally showed him the hickeys on my neck to tease him. Babe, are you a dog? If you keep doing this, you're gonna have to wear a muzzle. Silas, MMM. A few days later, Silas was kneeling before me, wearing a filigree black gold muzzle, white shirt, black trousers, chest harness, leather collar. Only then did I realize how good I was eating. Too bad the barrage subtitle feed, which had long since disappeared, couldn't see this. A tear of joy slid down from the corner of my mouth. I flipped over and pinned him down, savoring every inch of him. So good. We were tangled together, and at the very end he leaned into my ear. With a blushed face, he whispered, Vivi, I love you so much too. Only by peeling away the cold shell can you taste the sweet, soft fruit inside. Awkward. But sincere.